Let him be what he believes he is. My job is to do what I need to do and become victorious. Defend my stuff. I've done it 3 times, and this is number 4. This is number 4 for the ring. This is number 4 for the WBO. Super. So these are my goals is to defend my throne. It cannot be called the takeover and have someone take it over.
Antonio Tarver has delivered a fascinating assessment of the upcoming super lightweight showdown between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, offering insights that have captured the attention of boxing fans worldwide.
But if he's to win this fight, I think he has to probably stop.
The experienced former champion shared his thoughts during an appearance with Fight Hub TV, breaking down the technical and physical dimensions that will determine the outcome of this highly anticipated clash. According to Tarver, Lopez must embrace his natural fighting instincts and utilize every weapon in his arsenal to have any chance of handing Stevenson his first professional loss. This means Lopez cannot afford to fight conservatively or attempt to outbox his opponent in a technical chess match. Instead, the Brooklyn native needs to be himself at his absolute best, employing the aggressive, unpredictable style that has defined his most successful performances throughout his career.
I think that's the only chance he got, is to really be his ultra self, you know, doing all the things that makes him Teofimo Lopez. The footwork could be a major advantage for him. You know, being able to get inside. You know, a lot of times he fights free. You know, he don't really have a style. He does what it takes. And he's a gutsy fighter. You know what I mean? Real gutsy. He's not going to be leery to take chances. He's a gambler in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's a live underdog, I would say.
Tarver highlighted several specific advantages that Lopez could exploit during the encounter scheduled for January 31st at Madison Square Garden. The footwork of the defending champion represents one such edge, providing him with the mobility necessary to close distance effectively and work his way inside Stevenson's defensive perimeter. Lopez has demonstrated throughout his career that he lacks a rigid, predictable fighting pattern, instead adapting his approach based on what each particular moment demands. This flexibility could prove invaluable against an opponent as technically sound as Stevenson, who excels at solving conventional boxing puzzles.
And let's hope Shakur's hands hold up. I still believe if he's in a fisticuff, you know, and he has to slug it out, you know, those brutal hands gonna have to hold up if he wanna put a dent in Teofimo Lopez.
The defending champion enters this contest with his own impressive credentials that cannot be overlooked. Lopez has secured statement victories over divisional kingpins, including Vasily Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, establishing himself as someone who consistently elevates his performance when facing the highest caliber opponents. This ability to rise to the occasion against elite competition represents perhaps his greatest strength, though oddsmakers still view him as the underdog heading into this Madison Square Garden showdown. Stevenson himself has been openly confident in the lead-up to this confrontation. The undefeated challenger made clear that accepting this challenge was entirely voluntary, noting that he could have comfortably remained at lightweight rather than moving up in weight. His motivation stems from recognizing Lopez as one of the premier fighters at super lightweight, someone with significant accomplishments whose resume demands respect. Stevenson acknowledged that defeating Lopez would silence doubters and eliminate any questions about his capabilities at this new weight class.
Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, you going to be in New York for that?
Yeah, more than likely I'll be there. You know, even as a fan, I'll be watching it. You know, it's a great fight, and obviously one I'm keeping my eye on now. And I'm in that position and I feel I deserve to be in these big fights, so you know, it's going to be a great fight.
When assessing his opponent, Stevenson maintained that while he respects Lopez as a very good fighter, he also identifies numerous weaknesses in the champion's approach. The challenger expressed confidence that Lopez will not suddenly correct long-standing flaws overnight, predicting that fans will see the same version of the fighter they have observed countless times before. Stevenson plans to capitalize on these perceived vulnerabilities, though he wisely declined to specify exactly which weaknesses he intends to exploit, preferring to keep his strategic insights private until fight night arrives.
Teo is probably the biggest opponent I fought, but I don't feel like size win fights. I don't care who you is. If we get in a physical little wrestling match or anything in there, you gonna feel me just as much as I feel you. So
James Toney offered his own succinct perspective on the matchup, backing Lopez to prevail based primarily on physical advantages. The retired three-weight world champion believes the size difference favors the defending title holder, suggesting that Lopez simply presents too large and physically imposing a challenge for Stevenson to overcome. This viewpoint represents one side of an ongoing debate within boxing circles about whether natural physical attributes will outweigh technical superiority when these two collide.
What about Shakur and Teofimo coming up?
I'm gonna go Teofimo, too big for him.
Lopez arrives on a strong run of form that has seen him secure 6 consecutive victories since suffering the lone defeat of his career against George Kambosos Jr. back in November 2021. His recent wins over fighters like Sandor Martin, Jermaine Ortiz, and Josh Taylor demonstrate his ability to handle different styles and maintain consistency at the championship level. His most recent performance came last May at Times Square in New York, where he delivered a convincing triumph over previously undefeated mandatory challenger Arnold Barboza Jr.
Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. You know, his big bro, aka Terrence Bud Crawford, you know, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time for the sport of boxing and changed it by beating Canelo Alvarez to become the undisputed super middleweight world champion. So I think that I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge and face Teofimo, who is I. So I'm going to show everyone that his defense is not as immaculable like they say it is.
For Stevenson, this represents an opportunity to join an exclusive club of fighters who have captured world titles in 4 different weight classes while still just 28 years old. His career best performance arguably came during his last appearance in July 2025, when he secured a unanimous decision victory over the dangerous William Zepeda at Louis Armstrong Stadium. The successful defense of his WBC lightweight crown for the 3rd time showcased his continued development and readiness for bigger challenges.
I made this fight happen because I know Teo is one of the guys at 140. He got a big resume, big accomplishments. And I know there's going to be some doubt with people and fans when I go fight this guy. It's going to be people that really believe that this guy is going to beat me. I'm not on the level that I think I am and I say I am, so I made this fight for that reason. That was my competitive edge kind of kicked in when I wanted to make this fight.
Oscar De La Hoya weighed in with praise for both participants while offering his analysis of how the styles might interact. The Golden Boy promoter expressed genuine excitement about the contest, despite having no direct promotional involvement. De La Hoya professed admiration for both Lopez and Stevenson, acknowledging the exceptional talents each brings to the squared circle. His assessment of Stevenson's defensive approach highlighted that the undefeated fighter does not employ a running style, but instead positions himself directly in front of opponents, creating responsibility for Lopez to capitalize on that availability.
You know what, Teo's a hell of a fighter. I love Teo, but I love Shakur. His style is almost impossible to break, but if there's a fighter who can break it, it's Teo. But it's going to be a hell of a fight because I love Shakur because he doesn't run. He's right there in front of you. So it's up to Teo to do something, but I think it's going to be a great fight. Great fight for boxing.
Claressa Shields contributed her thoughts following the initial press conference where both fighters came face-to-face for the first time. The undisputed heavyweight champion, who defends her titles against Franchon Cruz Dezurn in Detroit during February, attended the media event and shared her forecast. Shields predicted an extremely competitive encounter while ultimately giving Stevenson the edge. She acknowledged Lopez's athleticism and experience as significant factors, but declared Stevenson the superior overall fighter based on his diverse skill set and tactical brilliance.
My thoughts is that's going to be a very competitive fight. I think that Teo is very athletic. He's very experienced, but Shakur is the man. Shakur is hard to beat. He's skilled. Shakur is skilled. Shakur, man, the dude got power. He can fight any style. He's a thinker. He's 5 steps ahead of you. Whatever you think you're going to do, Shakur 5 steps ahead of you. So I look forward to seeing this fight. I think it's going to be good, but I feel like Shakur is going to come out on top. He's going to win. And hopefully Teo don't have his hands down and he get caught slipping because Shakur has been showing some power.
Is this like a Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns type of fight? This is this era's Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns?
We got 2 slick fighters. No.
It's not that one.
No, it's like a, I don't know.
Benitez in the right
You
line?
want to say like a Pernell Whitaker versus a Sugar Ray Leonard type of deal. Like that's how I look at like.
They're both athletic.
Yeah, both athletic, both sharp, both really good on their defense, both just very explosive. Like it's one of them fights. Like you talking about Marvin Hagler, he used to come and get you. Like Shakur can do that. Now you don't know what he's gonna do for this fight. You don't know, but I know he's gonna do whatever he gotta do to win.
Tim Bradley drew comparisons between this upcoming battle and iconic matchups from boxing history involving pound-for-pound legends. Bradley noted that the victor would likely climb consensus pound-for-pound rankings. He observed that Stevenson has demonstrated greater consistency at world level in recent years, with his meticulous technical approach typically producing one-sided victories.
So look, y'all might perceive this fight as being boring and this and that. This is gonna be one hell of a technical battle that I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see this battle. Oh yeah. Yeah, because what y'all gonna witness is, I'm gonna tell you right now what you're gonna witness. You're gonna witness fundamentals, great fundamentals, versus that explosive stuff. You know what I'm saying? That explosive stuff. So like, let me give you a prime example. Not to this degree, but Tonio Tarver, Roy Jones. Tarver had them fundamentals down. Roy didn't. Had them fundamentals down. Now, I understand what happened. Now, yeah, look, if Teofimo Lopez, he get out of line and he want to run in there that fire and he get his behind caught, just like Norman Jr. got his behind caught, talking about, oh, he can't punch. Oh, he can find himself picking himself off of the canvas too. Yeah, talking about Shakur can't punch. I don't see many guys just running in there on Shakur. But anyways, look, y'all already know what it is. Precision, timing, right? Hitting the dude when he don't see something coming. That's power. Or hitting the dude when he coming in. That's power. Yeah, that's power. Yeah, if you didn't know, now you damn know. But anyways,
Shane Mosley brought his own legendary perspective to the discussion, having experienced the highest levels of competition during his own Hall of Fame career. The former pound-for-pound star who memorably upset De La Hoya himself to capture the WBC welterweight title understands championship-level matchups as thoroughly as anyone. Mosley emphasized that success will ultimately depend on which fighter successfully dictates the terms of engagement and imposes his preferred style. One particularly compelling scenario Mosley raised involves what might transpire if Stevenson finds himself needing to chase Lopez around the ring. Such circumstances could force the undefeated challenger to display aggression and determination not yet witnessed during his professional campaign.
I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. Shakur Stevenson has a very strong style where he can sit back and pot shot you and box and stuff like that, where Teofimo can also box and is very athletic and can get from side to side and can make things difficult for you as well. So what style is going to impose on the other is what we want to see.
So which style will impose? Is it something where like the first rounds really will dictate, or?
I think you're going to need a couple of rounds, but the first round is going to be very interesting. Maybe you see some tails, but I think maybe 2 or 3 you're going to start seeing one leave the other. Because I don't think that, well, maybe, I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, you know, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle that is kind of giving, you know, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that.
Paulie Malignaggi delivered perhaps the most nuanced breakdown of the matchup. The former two-weight world champion turned respected analyst acknowledged the extraordinary difficulty in forecasting this outcome while leaning slightly towards Stevenson based on overall body of work and consistency. However, Malignaggi raised an important psychological component regarding Lopez's historical tendency to produce his most brilliant performances when doubters emerge and expectations run lowest. The champion has struggled in situations where victory seems assured, but thrives when facing adversity, making him exceptionally dangerous in his current underdog role.
you want to give Shakur the edge, I do, but Teo is not something to play with because when he's got his back to the wall, he becomes the most difficult guy to deal with, you know? And he's got his best performances when people count him out. And then when people feel like he's going to win easily, he's got his worst performances. So this is one of those times where Teo could make it really, really interesting. Shakur, for me, is a possible pound-for-pound #1 at one time. But if there's a guy who could be a threat to him, it is Teo, because Teo has that little bit of difference-making ability.
Is it a 60-40 fight? Is it still close?
I mean, it's probably 60-40, maybe even higher, but that's a live 30 and 40 by Teofimo, because again, the way he shows up is very, very difficult and tricky.
But it's very rare for fighters to fight in their prime nowadays. They're both, 28 years old. They're fighting in their prime.
Yeah.
You got to give a lot of respect to both of them, right?
Yeah, you do. And that's the problem. You don't see a lot of fights happening in guys' primes. They milk the money and stuff like that. That's why I give these two guys credit.
Andre Ward provided extensive analysis emphasizing his respect for both athletes. The retired two-weight world champion drew a compelling distinction between how these fighters operate once competition begins. Ward compared Stevenson to an artist facing a blank canvas, possessing the intelligence, experience, athleticism, and skill necessary to create any masterpiece he envisions. This creative freedom allows the southpaw to adapt dynamically and solve problems without constraint.
Teo knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism, and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the lines. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope, and you'll be like, "Ooh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there." But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson. But what he does bring to the table, and what Shakur does have to deal with, is explosive power, quick twitch, muscles, and the type of punches that he likes to throw. And Teo doesn't have the foot game that Shakur has, but he's got a decent foot game. So Shakur has a lot to deal with as well. But I just think that when it comes to creating on the fly, making adjustments on the fly, Teofimo Lopez looks like the better boxer when he's facing an inferior fighter, an inferior boxer.
Keyshawn Davis offered an intriguing forecast suggesting concern for his friend Stevenson despite their close relationship. Davis competes on the undercard and envisions Stevenson controlling early rounds through superior boxing skills before Lopez gradually increases aggression and begins imposing physical advantages. This prediction implies that raw fighting ability and willingness to engage could eventually overwhelm technical superiority. Davis himself returns to action at super lightweight after being stripped of the lightweight title for missing weight, facing Jermaine Ortiz in his divisional debut.
How do you see Teo against Shakur playing out? Because you want me to tell you the truth, like, this fight could have been the winner's bracket fight. In other words, they're jumping to it, but at the end of the era, it may have been Teo and Shakur, especially if you would never fight Shakur, right? How do you see this fight playing out?
I see it playing out, let's say, I see it starting off slow.
Okay.
And then I see as Shakur wins the first round, as Shakur wins the second round, slowly, I think Teo is eventually going to start picking it up and start imposing his will.
Right.
And then, it's just going to go from there. That's how I think it's going to go.
That's a fair assessment.
That's a fair one.
Especially for that to be his brother.
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be closer than people think. Good.
Hey, one thing I can say, though, because I've been seeing, we've been amateur together and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Teo can fight.
I'm telling you that. Teo can fight.
Winning back
if you said he couldn't, you'd be lying. Right. That's a real assessment, though. I think Shakur still wins, but it's going to be closer than what people think. Teo is nice. A lot, man, no doubt.
Teddy Atlas focused on the clash of attributes, praising Stevenson's recent performance against Zepeda, where he displayed aggression while maintaining elusive movement. Atlas identified Lopez's power as potentially the decisive factor, noting that both fighters bring exceptional athleticism, but Lopez possesses more explosive punching that could instantly change the fight's complexion.
I mean, Shakur showed aggression in his last fight against Zepeda, being elusive while being aggressive. Walking them down, fighting on the inside, boxing well, still being able to counter, still being able to control space, but also be able to go into tight quarters and not be afraid to show that he's good on the inside too, that he can make you miss and make you pay outside and inside. Shakur showed that. That was great. That was great, and people applaud him. I applaud him. We were sitting there, ringside. I was sitting there actually with your sister, ringside, watching that fight. And it was a terrific performance. Shakur showing that dimension, showing that attitude, showing that competitiveness, showing that dog like people like to show or like to talk about, and they wanted to see in Shakur. Well, they saw it. Teofimo showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight.
Shawn Porter acknowledged the genuine 50-50 nature of this contest on paper. The former welterweight champion noted that Lopez appears almost unstoppable on his best day, though questions remain about self-sabotage or adjustment difficulties. Porter observed that Lopez has displayed flaws throughout his career, while Stevenson has remained remarkably consistent. Regarding what Lopez needs to do, Porter emphasized the importance of physical roughness and explosive unpredictability to disrupt Stevenson's rhythm. The stage is set for an unforgettable showdown that will answer these questions definitively when both champions finally settle their differences inside the squared circle.
Rumor has it, it's coming. But we got Shakur versus Teo.
Okay.
I gotta get your opinion on that one.
It's just, it's so hard, man. On Teo's best day, he's kind of unstoppable. I don't know if it's that he gets in his own way. I don't know if it's that he doesn't adjust well. I'm really not sure what it is, but we've seen flaws in his game. We haven't seen any flaws in Shakur's game. Everyone would say his offense is his flaw because he's not offensive enough and stuff like that. Just get out of here. The kid's beautiful. When he gets in the ring, beautiful. When he gets out of the ring, that smile don't change at all, you know? And, so that being said, man, I think with Shakur, you got to be able to rough him up. You got to be able to get out of the way of what's coming after you rough him up. And one thing that I really like about Teo is his explosiveness. You know, he has the ability to just be on top of you and be unpredictable. If he's using that, it's gonna be a great fight. But at the moment, I would say 60-40 for Shakur.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts about this fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more boxing content like this.